excited I am about this evening tonight. I've been looking forward to this for months ago. And just before I introduce our guest tonight, I just want to tell you, I can't say enough about her. She has been such a good friend. We had the opportunity several months ago to connect on a personal level. And man, we were talking a little while ago and before we came out here, and I said, man, I just felt like the minute we talked for the first time, there was like a divine flow. There was just a connection relationally there. And I'm always believing God for kingdom relationships, for covenant relationships that come into your life. How many thank God he sends those people into your life, right? They're just covenant relationship. And she's been it's like we've known each other for 10 years. She's just been such a good friend. And I'm telling you, God is blessing her in a tremendous way and taking her gift literally around the world. All over America and internationally, God's opening doors for her voice to go in. And so several months ago, I said, you gotta come to Columbus, Mississippi. I know you go to a lot of places, but you got to come to Columbus, Mississippi, because God's doing something incredible in Columbus, Mississippi. Do you believe that, everybody? And she said, I'm coming. She said, I'm coming whether you want me to or not, I'm coming. So we worked it out and we scheduled this, and I can't tell you how excited I am that she's taking time out of her schedule to be here. She is my sister from another mister, and I just love her. I love her to death, and she's gotten a lot of big welcomes around the world. She's been in a lot of venues and gotten a lot of big welcomes, but I really believe that she's never gotten a welcome like a Vibrant Church welcome. So I want you to get on your feet, and I want you to help me welcome Real Talk Kim. Come on, give it up, give it up.
What's going on? Let me upload this real quick. Man, I am so excited to be here with y'all. Look at your neighbor and tell your friend you ain't got to touch each other because of that cola virus or whatever's going around. Just kind of like do that and say, you bad, man, you bad. You the baddest one in the room, come on. Tell the other neighbor you're the prettiest one in the room. I just hooked some people up. You're welcome. Man, I'm so excited. You may be seated. I am so excited to be here. Pastor Jason and Pastor Rachel, man. I know he married up, didn't he? He got the prettiest little wife, man. She black. She black, man, because black don't crack. I always tell people, you know I'm black, but I crack. Because you know white people melt. Like at about 40 years old, all of a sudden, it's like, what happened? I remember when I started hitting 40, and then all of a sudden I started looking, I started realizing, like, this ain't anybody else got this. Like, what is that? Like, what the heck is that? Like it starts to hang right here, and you're like, what is it good for? It's not holding your heart. It's not protecting anything. It's just like, it just wakes up one day and your skin just dead, like a flat tire. I'm like, what happened? It's all Eve's fault. Like, if Eve would have just stayed in her lane. Like y'all, apples ain't even good without peanut butter. But that broad could not hush. And so now we got all these things happening to women. And the only thing this is really good for is if you get an American flag tattooed on it on July 4th, you can be like. But I realized, like, the older I got, the more, like, laid back I got. I had to start making jokes about stuff, when I'd wake up and I see, like, another wrinkle. I just bought big glasses, big as, you don't look at my wrinkles. Are you looking at my glasses? Like, girl, what are you thinking? Well, you ain't seeing the wrinkles. Boom, shaka, like a boom. So I am super honored to be here. Thank you, musicians. Y'all are bad. Y'all singers are bad. Come on, give everybody give all your volunteers. Man, it takes a lot for y'all to be able to come sit here and enjoy yourselves. So I celebrate the pastors, man. I just love y'all. And mom and dad, I just love y'all. Y'all so pretty. I'm probably as old as you, but what? And my assistant that came and picked me up today, y'all just been so good to me. Y'all just been like, I just wasn't ready. Like, I just wasn't ready. Like, I mean, your pastor's like, he pastors like 10. Because his spirit, his spirit's just so down to earth. And so when I pulled up here and I saw like the whole kingdom of heaven sitting here, I was like, what in the world is going on up in Mississippi? So I'm glad to be here. But I was raised in a United Pentecostal. And I know it shocks y'all because right now I'm up here with a whole mohawk. Can't nobody tell me nothing. But I was raised United Pentecostal. And so the funny thing about it is that 36 years old, I literally thought my life was over. 36. Anybody else thought your life was over? Anybody right now, you feel like my whole life is over? Like y'all, in fact, y'all are just like, you've just given up. You're like, I already created these storms. I might as well just go home and drink me a whole 2 bottles of wine tonight. I'm going to go to church and I'm going to see if God moves. And if God moves, then I'm going to quit drinking tonight. And we're over here mad at God for the storms we created. And in reality, I remember at 36 years old, so I was raised United Pentecostal. And the cool thing about it is my dad's church was like West Point. How cool is that? Y'all like, so? But it means something to me because West Point, Mississippi, my dad was we were United Pentecostal. And that meant that girls, it was all Eve again. Women couldn't wear pants. We couldn't cut our hair. Men look like they stepped out of GQ. I have a problem. That men can look like they stepped out of GQ, and us women look like whole hobbits. Like we would wrap our hair around the oatmeal box. My mom would like, you should get in the car like this because there was so much hair because we couldn't cut our hair because I don't still know why. I'm still looking for it. Like why I had to go all through high school wearing kids and blue jean skirts. I'm still waiting for an answer. Like I was the odd kid that had to pretend I was funny so that I'd win the wittiest award so I didn't have to eat lunch by myself. And so I remember at West Point, Mississippi, we were United Pentecostal. Women couldn't even wear short sleeves because these elbows will make all the men fall. They so sexy and stuff. Like, what? And like we couldn't show our elbows and all we were really good for was like my daddy would do this and my mom would get up and go get water and I'd be like, get your own water! So I think what the devil was doing was he was trying to set me up at a very, 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 very young age of being very rebellious. Because in this religion, it said that if you get divorced, you're going to hell on a slip and slide. Well, I told a dude for 17 years, I got married as quick as I could to get out of that stupid religion. And I get married as quick as I can. And everybody told me I shouldn't do it. Pastor Rod Parsons, and my mom and dad even sent me away to Bible school and was like, girl, we got to get you saved. They were getting me saved all my life. Like I remember West Point, Mississippi, I'd sit under that pew and I would hold the people's shoes down. And when they started shouting, they couldn't move. I'd be like going outside and the elder's daughter would be like, so I'd be like, girl, if I'm gonna get a spanking for you today, you gonna feel it. I go outside and I'd be spinning her and I'd let her fly. So I know that what was happening was the enemy was trying to set me up because what ends up happening is the more mess ups you make in life, the more you get what? Stuck. You start thinking, man, I done so much bad that ain't no way I walk in a church. If I walk in a church, everybody gonna die. Like if I walk up into a church, the whole lightning bulb's gonna hit whoever's around me. Because I was nay-naying last night. You know what I'm saying? Tonight I'm choosing to pray, but last night I was nay-naying. And so if I walk up into church, then what's gonna happen? Let me just talk to some people in this room tonight and let you know that God uses people with the worst past to create the best futures. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, Linda. Thieves don't rob empty vaults. Oh, that's what's been happening. See, because the enemy does not fight us because we're weak. He fights us because we're strong. He fights us because he knew that you were going to walk up into Vibrant Church. I freaking love that name, Vibrant Church. You know what I'm saying? It's just got this name about it where it's just prophetic, where you walk in and you feel like you ain't so vibrant. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to walk up in here in Spanx. Like Vibrant Church just makes you feel like you can just walk up in like, let it clap, let it clap. You ain't wearing your Spanx up in here. Spanx for all you men that are puzzled, that ain't married. Because if you married, you know what Spanx are. Because you walked in on your wife a few times where she looked like she was literally like, couldn't breathe. And when you walked into a room, she was really a size 14, but when you walked in there, she was size 6. You're like, holy mother of Jesus, what in the world? And she goes, you're like, baby, you are fine. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? She like, open the door. It's because she can't breathe. But you ain't got to do that up here. You got to do that in Vibrant Church. You got to do that because Team Delgado, you could just tell. They like, come as you are, and we going to get you fixed, baby. Like, you don't wait and come to Jesus when you get it all together. You got to come get into the power of God so he can help you get it together, because we're all flawed. We're all flawed, and the enemy knows, because he is such a hashtag punk, that he knows that you are the one in your family that can take a licking and keep on ticking. You're the one in your family that everybody called a black sheep, and you like, oh no, I walked up into Vibrant Church on first Wednesday. Y'all were sleeping on me. I hope you got your rest, because I'm back. Because all we need is an awakening. It's like when we finally get a clue. We finally sit there one day. You've been waiting for God to be a genie in a bottle. You've been stalking your ex on Instagram and Facebook, because he walked out on you. Now you done got your whole body snatched. You're like, what? Well, he done moved on. And you're over here breaking your heart every single day of your life, because the enemy knows that there is still a connection in that situation. So what does the enemy do? The enemy cannot take you out, so he's trying to wear you out. So he gets on social media and allows your heart to be tied to people that should not be in your life in the first place, because nobody that walked out of your life is a part of your destiny. So you scrolling on Instagram, you getting all your word on Instagram, and you getting all you like liking, girl, like. Whatever mood you in, that's whose page you following, because she dropping it like it hot, get them, girl. And people saying what you want to say so you can share all their stuff, and it don't look like you said it, but you meant it, and it's subliminal messages. And you start scrolling on social media, and the enemy is such a punk, and he knows he can't take you out, so he's trying to wear your tail out. So he makes sure that broad that's the same age as you shows up in your news feed every single day, and you want her life. You start looking at her life. You lay in your bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you done scrolling through everything, because he left you for her, so she must be bad mamma jamma. And you scrolling, you back 45 weeks looking at all her pictures, and you accidentally hit that hard. You're like, because now you are all hashtag stalker status, and now you're stuck like Chuck, because the enemy has got you thinking she done wrote 3 books, she's the same age as you were in special ed, you still don't know where commas go. And now you mad because she written 3 books, you never got your hooked on phonics, but you know there's a book inside of you. She can write 3 books, but I can't even write 1. She got a boy and a girl and a boy and a girl, and I can't even have but 5 girls trying to have a boy. And then because we document everything on Insta stories. She got her baby laying in that papoose. She's sitting there greening and juicing these greens, and you just sitting there staring at her and getting madder and madder. Like, God, where you at? And she's sitting there making these green juices, and your kid is running around the house with chicken McNuggets hanging out of his mouth. You're like... And she's sitting there looking with her long, gorgeous hair and same age as you, and you look a little worn because you done ran a few men off with your mouth too. You're like, girl, Listen, Linda, listen. You done told your husband in 17 years, I don't need no man. You woke up one day and didn't have one. You're like, what happened? He said, you don't need no man. Then you're gonna have the audacity to get mad at God for that. And God's over here saying, no, rejection was a release. You might have in your brokenness said some things, but anybody that walks out of your life in your broken state wasn't supposed to be a part of your destiny anyway. Let it go. Let it go. You ain't gotta take that crap anymore. Let it go. Let it go. See, you gotta get to a place. You're scrolling, and she's juicing these greens, and you ain't got a juicer. It's too much work to clean that thing. And then lo and behold, the enemy will make sure that you all of a sudden see her picture. And Destin, she just had twins. She already snatched in a bikini. And I think you done pushed up that picture to get real close. She ain't got no stretch marks. You done looking, baby. You dissected that. You ain't been in your word at all, but you dissecting this picture and you blowing it. You can't get it up close enough. You take a screenshot at it so you can go to your picture. Y'all hitting each other. You know why? Because you doing it. And you realize, oh my gosh, she ain't even got no stretch marks. She already snatched, she already in a bikini, and she just had that baby 2 weeks ago, and I'm still trying to get my back boobs off from little Johnny that's 12. So what happens? Then the last straw. See, y'all mad because people sucking the life out of you, but you giving them the straw, baby. You're like... You're over here saying, oh my gosh, like she got everything going for her. And the last straw, the enemy's like, oh, I'm about to get you. You see her husband. She's got the boy, girl. She snatched. And now she shows her husband. And her husband looks like he stepped out of GQ, and yours looks like he stepped out of DQ. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. So the enemy knows that whatever it is on the inside of you that you've never fixed is the very area that he's gonna go after. And whenever you finally start realizing it ain't nothing but a season and not a sentence, when you start realizing that it ain't no monument in my life, it is a moment. This is part of my life story. This right here, God knew before I was ever even a thought in my mother's womb that I was gonna run 5 men off with my mouth, and he knew number 6 was it. But see, what we do is we go through life so bitter and so mad. We're Petty Crocker, Petty Patrick, Bitter Betty, and we're walking around, we're spewing and bleeding on people that didn't cut us. Because it sucks to be broken. And so often what ends up happening is we end up getting into a place where we actually get comfortably broken. We actually get to a place where we walk around every day with a scowl on our face, and the only thing that it happens whenever you allow bitterness and anger and unforgiveness to live in your life, it's like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. And basically what you're doing while you're scrolling and you're wishing you had it, and instead of just saying, baby, you can have him, the trash took itself out. Instead of just getting up and realizing rejection was not necessarily someone wanting out of your life, but it was somebody God needed out of your future. And even if you did it, it was not a part of your destiny. What is in your life right now is where God is saying, at this moment, I'm waiting for you to take back your power. Take back your power. Let them talk. You're like, but you don't understand. They talking about me. Haters are confused fans. Why in the world do we care about people that sit around a table and talk about you? Why? And then you've got all these people that come to you and say, well, so-and-so was talking about you. Well, I want to know why they felt comfortable talking to you. Why? Because the enemy uses anything that's going to distract you from getting ahead in your life. It takes 1 second for you to make up in your mind, I'm done with this. I'm closing this door. I ain't mad at the doors that closed on me another day in my life. Baby, close the doors. I'm going to praise him in the hallway. And when I come back, my comeback game is so strong. What? I'm going to buy the whole doggone building. My sermon title is Moving in the Mess. Moving. Not paralyzed. It happened. It's over. Some of y'all been going, look, in fact, tell yourself this right now. Say, girl. Say, bro. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself however how you talk to yourself. Some of y'all ain't talking to yourself. That's the problem. Y'all need to learn to get in that mirror and be your whole biggest cheerleader. You know when you being nasty. You know, you've been on social media. In fact, y'all, you see, we got the queen and the kings of people that get on social media. Well, I went to Vibrant Church. Real talk, Kim. Told me that I could take a licking and keep on taking. And she said I didn't have to listen to no more drama mamas. So if you don't see me in your news feed, you've been deleted. Because I'm sick of the drama. You are the drama. Because you don't have to say nothing when you ain't the drama. See, when you're whole, you're walking in your own lane. When you're whole, you could be walking through a divorce and people talking about you and they're like, girl, I don't know how in the world she's holding it together. She holding it together because with new levels, new devils, and you realize I have understood one thing in my life. Whatever is behind me is not walking into my future. And I only get one chance in this life. I ain't staying stuck for nobody. Moving in your mess. Isaiah 43, 18 through 19 says, forget the former things. Why do you think the enemy uses our minds the worst? We get a bump in our boob and we're like, ah, I'm dying. I had this lady in my church who wanted to die so bad she couldn't handle it. She would come up in my church, Pastor Kim, I need you to pray for me. I said, what's going on? She said, I got cancer. I said, who said? She goes, I just feel it. My mother died of it. My aunt died of it. Everybody gonna die of it because, generational curse. I said, I just need you to lay hands on me. I said, okay, I'm gonna lay hands on you, but you don't ever talk about it again because you ain't dying. Because life and death are in the power of your words, and by his stripes you are healed. So I lay hands on Father, thank you in the name of Jesus. She's healed because I'm just real dramatic anyway. That next service, she comes walking in with the walker. I thought, dear God. She said, Pastor Kim, I need you to pray for me. I said, did you get your report? No, not yet. It's in 2 weeks. I said, oh, but you're dying. Are you weak? No. I just feel a little light-headed, little breathing going on up in here. I said, but you never been to the doctor yet. No. I need you to pray for me. I said, Father, in the name of Jesus, I just thank you. And inside I'm thinking, healer or killer? Like, why do you want to get, y'all, I remember, let me tell you why I'm real talking. Because I am the queen of walking this stuff out before I talk to you. Everything I ever preach on, I've done. I'll never forget, y'all, even up to 2 years ago. I am praying for people, laying hands on people, pastor, just shut up, and in my head, for some reason, I'm thinking, oh, the devil would love to take me out. Because I'm winning so many people to Jesus. And all of a sudden I realized that I'm saying these things, but yet I'm starting to fear because all of a sudden I'm like, he'd love to take me out. Well, I'm looking for him to take me out. I just got done laying hands on everybody on the road. On the road again. I walk in the house. All of a sudden I start feeling just tingling in my arm. I'm like, oh dear Lord. I go Google it. Don't you ever Google. Google will have you dead in 2 seconds. You'll be like, what is that clogged pore on the pit of my neck? And it's like, girl, you're having a whole stroke. You're going to die in 5 minutes. It's a clogged pore. And you're like, oh, dear Jesus. I said, oh, my God. it said your left arm's gonna start tingling. I'm like, oh Jesus. I'm laying in that bed. I'm like, because I ain't nothing for me to go, come out. I would lay hands on myself. I was walking around the house. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I was like, oh dear Lord. I said, Mama, I said, you gotta take me to the hospital. She said, for what? I said, I'm dying. She said, how? I said, Google said in 5 minutes I'm gonna be dead because it is a stroke. She said, Kimberly, real talk, Kim, because that's what everybody does, throws it in my face. You better go lay hands on yourself and get your mind together. I said, if you don't take me to the hospital, I'm gonna take myself. She jumps in that car. She runs every light trying to get to that hospital because by now she's like, girl, there's something wrong with Kim because I don't fall apart. I just don't fall apart. I just am one of those that's like, it ain't gonna take me out. You can't steal my birthday. But this time I was dying and I knew I was dying. And I would get to the hospital and we pull into the hospital. I don't even let her park. I just literally jump out of the car rolling. As it's rolling, I go and proceed to fall over the front desk and social media will have people knowing who you are and stuff. And I didn't even care. I just fell over the front. And then she goes, ma'am, what's your name? I said, Dad. She goes, ma'am, what's your social security? Dad. I realized that bra was not moving. So I proceeded to fall over and just die. I heard God say, what are you doing? I said, Elizabeth, I'm coming home. I heard God say, girl, you ain't dying, but you're going to be about $10,000 broke because you couldn't get your mind under control. You ain't dying, and if you die, you ain't gonna know you died. I literally felt this miracle come in my body. I heard $10,000. I said, Mama, let's go. There's been a miracle in Piedmont Van. Won't he do it? So I get it. I get your mind playing all these games on you, and layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of carrying stuff that you swear you let go of. You've been going to that same therapist for 10 years, talking about Jerry. How does that make you feel? You're like, girl, I don't know, but I'm a single mama, and that was a whole 2-week salary. I'm gonna need you to tell me how it made me feel. And God's over here saying, I have given you the power to break off of you every worry, every fear, every sickness, every crazy talk you're talking to yourself. Every time your ex is telling you stuff, you already married again, and you still remember what he said about you. And now you wait till your husband gets into bed at night, and you all of a sudden, your poor husband ain't done nothing to you. It was the ex. But because you never healed, you wait till he goes to sleep, and then you slide out of your bed. You slide, and you slither on the floor over to his side of the bed, to the coffee table, and you start to grab his phone to see who he's talking to. You forget now we have smartphones, and the minute anything moves, that light comes on. Why don't you just heal? Why don't we just get to a place where we realize if this is every single day of my life for the last 50 years, the last 20 years, the last 12 years, I've never felt loved, I've never felt worthy, I've never heard God's voice, I can't sing on the platform, I have done this, I've done that, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not worthy enough, and God is over here saying, you are the very one that I want to use. Because there is nothing like going to hell to come out on fire. Y'all, look at Jonah. I could tell you a million stories. Look at Jonah. Jonah was told to go to Nineveh. Just like he's telling some of y'all, pray for your enemies. You're like, I'd rather die. Pray for your ex-husband. I'd rather die. You're laying in bed every night. Kill him! And you're even praying specifics. Kill him with a train! Because you know if a train hits him, Pastor Delgado can't even lay hands on him and bring him back. He'll splat. And you're over here, just like Jonah. Go to Nineveh. He's all, no, man, I want all of them to burn in the lake of fire. I ain't going to Nineveh. Boom, shaka, like a boom. And he went wherever he wanted to go. But see, God will always get your number. You can run, but you can't hide. And every single person that's sitting in this seat, in this auditorium tonight, it was a divine appointment that you walk in here so I could say, wake up, it's time. Like, it's time for you to get your butt in gear. It is time for you to let go. It is time for you to block their number. It is time for you to erase some voice messages. It is time for you to stop crying over the same thing. Get up, because nothing that is behind you is greater than what's in front of you. And Ephesians 3:20 say he's going to do exceedingly abundantly more than you could ever ask or think. He said in Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans that I have for you, saith the Lord, plans to bless you and not harm you, give you a future and a hope. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Forget the former things. In fact, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing an old thing. If I were you, I'd be like, girl, bye. He said, new thing. He didn't say old thing. He didn't say consequential thing. He didn't say karma thing. He didn't say if you do this or you do that or you do everything right. No, he says this very moment, I'm going to do a new thing in your life with everything that you have left. And whatever you have left, I'm going to make a multitude of it. Whatever you have left, everybody has a story, but yours is about to be a bestseller. I just need you to get up. Forgetting the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? So basically what that's telling me, and I was in special ed, what that's telling me is that it's saying you got to see it for it to spring forth. That means you got to have faith before it's ever even happening in your life. That means life and death and the power of your words. That's how come you're negative Nelly, because you're prophesying into your own life. Every single day you telling little Jerry, you just like your daddy, and he knows you hate his daddy. And you wonder why he's trifling. You ain't hugged on him in forever because he looks just like your husband. And you've never forgiven your ex-husband. He didn't ask to be your kid. But yet we walk through life not even enjoying the fruit of what God's doing in our life because we can't let go of some situations that let go of us. Everybody wants to be a diamond, but nobody wants to get cut. It's that divorce that you walk through that's got some oil dripping off of you now. It's that bankruptcy that you walk through that's going to be a whole testimony when you come back and buy a whole house. But instead, we'd rather walk around and blame everything on the devil, and the devil's going to give some of y'all character defamation. He going to get all y'all, a bunch of y'all for character defamation because he didn't do it, you did it. You walk around all the way to church. Well, you know, the devil's after my car. I must be about to get a breakthrough because, you know, the devil's after my car. He can't drive. You need an oil change. The devil's after my marriage. No, you need to get little Frankie out of the middle, you and your husband. He ain't supposed to be in your bed, your husband is. Turn on you some Barry White when you get home. Turn on some Lionel Richie, huh? You want your marriage back? Turn on some Lionel Richie, baby. When he walks in tonight, you and all your back bruise, what? He don't care. But see, we would rather walk around blaming the devil for why we're mad and why we're stuck, when God's over here saying, I got a comeback story that's gonna blow the world into shambles from one person. You're like, okay, I'm not me. I mean, I'm in Columbus, Mississippi. Ain't nobody even know about me. I'm the whole black sheep of the family. Every single thing that my family told me that I was gonna be, I am. You gotta look at my own life. My own life, when they sent me away to Bible school, right when I got there, I saw the little piano boy. And I was like, whoa! I was doing the bubble letters. Kim, blah, blah, blah. I ain't gonna say his last name. Y'all be going looking for him, and he don't look very good now. Y'all be like, girl, see? Sin will take you further than you want to go. Cost you more than you want to pay to blow you up as big as this church. I'm just saying. He said, don't you marry that boy. I'm not going to bless you. He said, I will not bless this relationship. I was coming home from Israel. I was singing on the Sea of Galilee. I know the peace speaker. I know him by name. Oh. And living like the devil. I didn't even know the peace speaker. Like, I still, at that age, hadn't even heard God. Like, I went to all them camps. Remember, my dad and mom was always trying to get me right. And everybody be like, little Jerry said, I just heard Jesus. I'd be like, I ain't heard Jesus. He ain't talking to me. Where he at? Where he at? Because I thought because I was a black sheep of the family in special ed my whole life, literally special ed, my parents let me be in special ed my whole life. And I mean, I literally thought I was a VIP because I have a way of turning things around. They'd be like, all the special kids can go to class. I'd walk out of there like, VIP. I'm the only one that gets to leave. And then like 8th grade, all of a sudden I got a teacher that didn't like teachers. She go, all that special ed kids can go to class. I just sat there. She said, Kim, that would be you. I said, no ma'am, I'm waiting for VIP special. She said, you are special ed. Because the enemy knew one day I'd be standing up on this platform. See, here's the key. Here's the key. As bad as the devil wants you down and out and stuck on your mess, I'm stuck. I can't move. I feel like I'm stuck. You ain't stuck because you ain't no tree. You are only stuck because you stopped moving. You're stuck because you keep hanging around with people that's only connected to the outdated version of you. You're hanging around with these people and they're all telling you, girl, I told you. You're asking people how to swim that's drowning. You're asking people how to live their life and their life is going to hell in a handbasket. And so you're over here wondering how come you can't get ahead. What you need to do is you need to turn on that Bible app. How many single people we got up in here? Come on. How many? Y'all, I got the key, man. It'll help you stop settling for counterfeits. Turn on that YouVersion Bible app. And at night, get you 18 pillows wrapped around your body. And at night, let them start reading to you. It's you can put a man or a woman, and they read while you're sleeping. Blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the seat of the sinner, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. For his delight is in the law of the Lord. In his law, he don't talk back to you. He said, I ain't gonna marry you, and I ain't gonna bless that. In the middle of the night, I pack my little Fiat, and I get my stuff in the car, and I'm like, peace out. I go marry the boy. I sure did. I married him, and every single thing that accountability told me in my life was gonna happen, happened. Because what happens is we get to a place where we're too big for our britches, and the enemy starts making us get a fence on us. Then we start getting this offense. And then all of a sudden, our fence panties are wrapped so tight around our neck, we think everybody's talking about us, and ain't nobody talking about you, boo. Like everybody's going through their own stuff. But now because you're over here thinking, I ain't never measured up, I've never fit in the bottle, I've never fit in the little thing my dad thought I was gonna be. You know, my dad told me that I needed to be in the military and I wanted to be a mobile detail, and now I'm walking in my purpose, and every time I walk in, I just see the disgust in his eyes. So I go to college and I get 5 degrees, and I can't even get a job now because I'm overqualified. All I wanted to hear was my dad say, good job. Tell yourself good job. Why must we go through life broken, angry, and missing out on the one life we have? You got a whole fish on the back of your car. To remind yourself you're a Christian, because you don't even like you, because of what somebody in your past told you were that wasn't supposed to be in your life in the first place. Because they knew how powerful you were anyway. They knew that you were all that in a bag of chips. That's why they lived their whole life trying to put you down. Because they knew if you ever saw your shine for real, baby, they knew you ain't gonna need me, because they knew they weren't all that. But see, we will allow those people to be our voices in our ears louder than God is in our ears. Forget those things. Put it behind you. Do you not see I'm trying to do a new thing in your life? No, you wouldn't see it because we don't know how to get out of our comfort zones because we're so afraid of rejection. We won't write that book because we're afraid nobody will buy it. Then you're going to leave here and you're going to feel like you're going, because I will brainwash you. I will have you believing that you can literally be the president tomorrow. And you're going to go home tonight and you're going to have a whole revelation and you're going to get on your status. You won't even get on Facebook Live. You're going to be like, hey, come on into the room. I'm going to give some people time to get on. Yes, yes, yes. Is this thing working? I don't see anybody coming in. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi. I'm going to give y'all a second. Just a little bit more time. Yeah, well, maybe it's my Wi-Fi. Let me get off here. And you won't even deliver the word that God has for you to deliver for somebody that's about to commit suicide. Because you're over here still needing validation from people that ain't even valid. It says, do you not see it? I'm doing a new thing in your life. I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. I'm melting those mountains like wax in my presence. That's how come you can't walk up in here and sit. Real talk, Kim? My mother dragged me here. I am mad because I was molested, and I ain't letting this go. I am mad at that ex, and you make me give it to you. Well, I'm not going to make you do nothing. Keep it. Because when I go home tonight, I'm about to sleep like a whole baby. My job and commission and assignment in Vibrant Church is to tell you, you got to move in your mess. My assignment tonight was to walk up in here and look at some vibrant, amazing people that was designed to walk in this building tonight and tell you, some of you have been stuck for far too long. You have talked about it for the last time. You have been angry about it for the last time. You have sat on the couch eating ho-hos, scratching your behind for the last time. Why? Because he's making streams in the desert. God can move through your mess. Circumstances may be messy in your life right now. You might have walked in here tonight and been like, man, if you only knew what I'm walking through right now. But see, that's the problem. We all do know. Because you're over here taking it to the phone instead of the throne. You're over here asking people that can't even help you how to fix something. When you got the power, when you accepted Jesus into your heart, Pops, when you accepted Jesus into your heart, he says, now that you have accepted me into your heart, now I'm living right here. I'm living right here. See, the devil messed up by letting you walk up into Vibrant Church a few years ago because now something's happening. It's taken you a little bit longer, and now you got a limp. Baby, listen, I don't hang around with nobody that ain't got a limp. If you ain't got a limp, we ain't hanging out because you a whole liar. Because we all got flaws. I need you to have a limp. I need you to be dragging your big old thick 500-pound thigh. Kim, it's these thighs. I don't even know what's happening. It's thyroid, something's happening. No, you don't like your thighs because that ex in your life told you, ain't nobody gonna ever love you with those thick thighs. You used to love your thick thighs. They caught the cell phone from falling in the toilet a time or two. I was dropping my phone but not wanting to break it. See, your circumstances may be messy, but I want you to reflect on yourself right now and ask yourself, anybody walked in here feeling heavy tonight? Be honest. I'm not going to call you out. Y'all like, right? How many walked in here feeling heavy? Who's going through something tonight that you feel like it's about to take your doggone life? You're feeling so behind. Kim. I'm behind in my life. You know why you're behind? Because you had these expectations of how your life was supposed to look. And because you had a few blunders, now you think it's over. But my God said, it ain't over. Because as long as you got a pulse, God's got a plan. As long as you ain't dead, God ain't done. And honey, the reason people are fighting, the reason the enemy's fighting you is because there's something on the inside of you that when you walk into a room, everything changes. You ain't even got to open your mouth and say a word. When you walk into a room, there's just something you carry. When you've made it through something that would have taken your sister out. Them labels that people put on you, special ed. See, that special ed had to be put on my life. You know why? Because if I wouldn't, I'm not even kidding. There's a reason why I'm 5'9". My mom was 99 pounds. Listen, if God would have made me 99 pounds, 5 foot tall, I'd have been on a pole. Okay. I wouldn't have been on a pole, but I wouldn't have been listening to Jesus. Okay. But everything that's happened in your life was setting you up for such a time as this. Because listen, everybody's got a story, but yours is going to be that bestseller. Because see, it had to be in special ed. Because in special ed, everybody knew that I couldn't do commas and punctuations. And even if you look at my Facebook status today, and I'm 47 years old. See, I thought at 36 years old, my life was over when I had to move back in with my mother and my father with my 2 little boys. I thought my life was over. And then I realized at 40 years old is when my life began. Wow. At 40 years old is when I started ministry. Because I was working at Bloomingdale's, making $9 an hour, and I hated people. Because my daddy was a preacher, and them Saints kids messed me up. But see, what God did was he said, I need you to have a breakdown so I can give you a breakthrough. Because it's not often that it's becoming anything. It's about unbecoming what your mama told you to be, what your daddy told you to be, what your exes, your 10 exes told you. Everybody been telling you who you're supposed to be, and God's over here saying, I'm gonna let people walk out of your life in the worst time of your life, and you're over here gonna be thinking, where's everybody? I need them right now. I need them. And God's saying, no, because I don't want you to be rebuilt in this season and try to be like them. I want you to be in your own lane. So I'm gonna let you walk through this divorce. I'm gonna let you move back in with your mother and father. I'm gonna let you hit rock bottom and find out who the rock is at the bottom, which is Jesus. I had to go get a job at Bloomingdale's, and I was in United Pentecostal, and I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. And the reason, honestly, that I have these glasses on tonight is because my eyebrows are not on fleek. I was in makeup for 5 years, and I don't know how I did it because I don't know how to do makeup. But here's what I did do. I remember that first time I had to walk out there, I had to go get a job. Isn't that terrible when you lose your marriage, 17-year marriage, you got to move back in with your mom and dad in a 10 by 10 bedroom, you lost your $500,000 house, you lost your Mercedes, and God put your butt in a whole knockoff Bentley, 300 Chrysler. That thing looked like a Bentley on the outside, but it was toe up on the inside, had me sit on the side of the road every day. See, what he was doing was he was saying, 40 years old, I'm going to bring you from 36 from the pit to the palace. All those people that used to be riding in the car with you when you had all that money, where they at? Where they at? They right where they're supposed to be, back there. So in order for you to get into position where I need you to be, in order for me to open the windows of heaven over your life, I'm going to let you have everything you thought you wanted to show you it ain't what you need. And then I'm going to get you into position 25 years after Pastor Rod Parsley tells you it ain't going to work, and it didn't work. 17 years, finally, I moved back in with my mom and daddy and realized it's over. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm going to hell on a slip and slide, because that religion said you get divorced, going to. I was like, I'm straight in hell right now. I am in hell. And God said, but this is what I'm about to do, because when everybody walks out of your life, you got to start hitting that rock bottom, which is me. You're gonna, for the first time in your life, hear me. The funniest thing happened in that season, I started realizing, oh my God, I was waiting for God to be like, Kimberly! I mean, because if he goes, he put the stars on the moon, and he made billions of people, some with big butts, some with no butts, all of us got different fingerprints. If he can do that, shouldn't he be talking to me in an earth-moving way when he knows I don't hear him well? But that ain't how he moves. He waits until you lose everything. He waits until you get in the wilderness, when ain't nobody there telling you what to do, when you can't afford the therapist no more, when you finally can't even afford your prescription to Ambien anymore. or Xanax because you've hit rock bottom. People are talking about you on social media, and God tells you, you be quiet and live so nobody believes it, and I'm going to vindicate you. You have no idea how he can vindicate you because he's planted your behind in Fayetteville, Georgia, or in where we at? Columbus, Mississippi. Y'all out in the woods too. Y'all airport's as small as mine. And then he plants you in that place, and you start realizing my daddy's church. I mean, he puts me in this church, and I'm 36, 37. I keep telling him, God, I need a man because, white people melting, and if you don't hurry up, it's going to be like on my honeymoon night. It's like already getting sags. It's going to be like, hello, is it me? Or, everything's going to be dropping. I need it now. And I remember God telling me, he said, Kimberly, I'm waiting on you to get into alignment. I'm waiting on you to let go of what happened back here so I can bless you here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you at Bloomingdale's, and while you're at Bloomingdale's, I'm going to make you drive 1 hour to work and 1 hour coming home. And in that hour, you're going to listen to preaching. Because see, the key is at 37 years old, I couldn't tell you if Noah took 2 animals in or 4. I literally was holding people's feet down during church. I didn't hear nothing. Raised on the church pew. Because the enemy was trying to counterfeit me over here so that I never felt worthy enough to stand up here. Because he said, if you don't get it here and you keep making all these mistakes, you're going to put yourself off the couture rack, put yourself on the clearance rack, and then you ain't going to be no good for God at all. Because if you ever figure it out, you ain't going to ever prostitute your anointing for nobody. Because when I was down to nothing, God was up to something. Driving to work, every day I put on T.D. Jakes. He said, turn off Lemonade, turn off Beyonce, turn off Travis Trent, and put on some preaching. I said, oh, dear Lord. All the way to work. Because me and him became BFFs. He's like thug, too. I'd be laying in my bed. Every birthday, I'd remind him, I still ain't married. And all the men in my daddy's church are white, old, and bald. And I don't like white, old, or bald. No offense, Pastor, but I'm just saying. I was like, I don't like white, old, or bald. And you've got me sitting in the middle of Fayetteville, Georgia. What you gonna do? He said, you need to get your mouth under control. I said, no, ma'am. No, Jesus, that was not for me. That was for Jerry. That was for the neighbor. She got a big old mouth, God. Loud mouth, chunky butt over there. He said, oh, no, I'm talking to you. He said, where I'm about to take you, your heart's got to be completely healed. He said, you lay in bed every night praying for people to die in a train. He said, I can't use you as long as you're walking around with this unforgiveness. I can't touch you. And I'm laying in that bed at night, and I remember thinking, I don't even know how. How do I forgive? I go to church every freaking service, and I don't even know how to forgive. How do you forgive? And I remember laying in that bed that night, and for the first time in my life at 38 years old, I started praying specifics. I said, God, I want to forgive. I don't want to be mad at my dad and mom. I don't want to be mad at my exes. I don't want to be mad at my best friend that told on me when I was growing up, or the deacon that spanked me, or that coworker that keeps getting my jobs. I don't want to be going down the road and people jump in front of me and I'm like, ah! I don't want to be this way. And I started praying specifics laying in that bed. No bishop laid hands on me. No prophet laid hands on me. I didn't even call Cleo. It was me and God. And I laid in that bed and I said, God, I want to hear you tonight. My kids, if the house would catch on fire, they would let me burn up because I'm so mean. If I died, nobody would even come to my funeral because I've erected these walls in my life because I'm scared of being hurt again. And now I'm sitting at my mom and daddy's and you're making me go get a job and I hate people and I got a job in makeup and I don't know how to do makeup because you just punking me. And he started talking to me in that season. He said, Kim, I'm waiting on you. Pain don't leave your life. You have to get up and walk away from it. You got to stop stalking them on Facebook. You can hide them and they'll never even know you blocked them. You can move on with your life with one press of a finger. Well, Kim, I don't know how to do it. Yes, you do. You're a whole grown up. If you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it, get on your knees down here every single time these altars are open. And even if they ain't open, make everybody in this church uncomfortable because you decide I'm going after what God's got for me. And if you don't like it, oh well. You'll be the whole movement in this church because somebody's waiting on somebody else to, I surrender all, for real. I remember the first person I finally got a clue. I said, oh, I see God, I see you. 36, I thought my life was over. I remember walking out there, looking at Eleanor. I'll never forget Eleanor as long as I live. Because I was still hating people, and I walked out there to Eleanor. I was like, oh, dear Jesus. I was walking out to her, and I'd been eating ho-hos and scratching my behind. I was spilling out of my uniform, and I'm walking like this because it's polyester, and I can't even move. I mean, I was a whole mess. And I remember I look at Eleanor, and she's sitting in that chair, and I walk out there, and I'm like, oh, dear God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? He said, figure it out. And I remember I get that brush, and I got my palette, and I pretend I'm putting the eye makeup on that brush, and I didn't even dip it in. And I would sit there, and I'd be putting that makeup on with nothing on the brush. And I'd say, Eleanor, you are so beautiful. You don't even need any makeup. When God was creating you, he was so bored in baby heaven because he gave you these cheekbones that just float. You don't even need anything but a little bit of bronzer. And your eyelashes look like feathers. And I would watch as I was talking to her. She was sitting there like this, and all of a sudden she started lifting a bit, and I started feeling something even breaking off of me. I mean, this was all in 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden I said, girl, all you need is a little bit of lip gloss, just a little. And I put that lip gloss on her, and all of a sudden she said, I'll take that lip gloss, Kimberly. She walked out of that store feeling like $1 million. And that next Friday, by the time Friday got here, that's my store, my counter had the most lip glosses sold in the whole city of Atlanta, Georgia, that even the executives for Estee Lauder came in and said, we don't even know what you're doing. I thought, if you only knew. And I remember Eleanor walked in that store that night, and she said, I said, Eleanor, you got to keep your lip gloss. I'm on a roll. She said, oh, no, Kim. I don't want to give you back my lip gloss. She said, I got a proposition for you. She said, every Friday, I'm going to come sit in your chair. And she said, my husband of 28 years walked out 10 years ago. And I've been going to a therapist every 2 weeks. And all she's done is made me fat. Because that Ambien makes me eat my spaghetti in the middle of sleep. I just wake up with spaghetti sauce everywhere. And she said, I don't know what you did. When I sat in your chair, she said, something happened. And she said, I went home and I opened my blinds. And she said, I went to the grocery store and I'm walking down the grocery store and everybody's like, Eleanor, is that you? And she said, in 45 minutes, you did something for me that my therapist couldn't do for me. And I remember at that very moment, I started realizing what I'd gone through wasn't even for me, it was for Eleanor. What I had gone through, what you are going through, it ain't even for you, it's for somebody else. See, God knew you could get through it. He knew that you were going to be the comeback kid. He knew that you were going to break the generational curses off of your family. He knew it. He knew it. He knew that you were going to walk into Vibrant Church on a Wednesday. Say, man, I feel like giving up. If real talk, Kim, don't say something to me, I'm going home and committing suicide. Well, this is your moment. Where God is saying, you ain't seen nothing yet. I got out of that, y'all, I'll never forget. It started happening like that for me. I'd sit in that car with TD Jakes, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. I go, pause, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. I'd be coughing. God be like, what you doing? I said, I'm learning to preach. He said, I told you to get the word in you, but not be TD Jakes. We already got a TD Jakes. I need you to be a real talk Kim. I started getting so saved that if a mosquito would have bit me, he would have got the Holy Ghost. I started walking up into Bloomingdale's every day instead of complaining about that job. I started living for that job because I knew I got to talk to somebody. I knew that it was my moment for 45 minutes and God trusted me with that person. And my goal wasn't to sell her a lipstick, but to make her feel like when she walked out, what? What, girl, what? See, but if you wouldn't have walked through what you went through, you wouldn't have nothing to talk about. That very thing that you're mad at. Maybe the pain ain't your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. Well, how do you do it, Kim? You get up. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. I'm going to get up. Beyond the open door, there's a new and fresh anointing. Hear the Spirit calling me to come. My job is to get up and move. He's a lamp unto your feet, a light unto your path. He didn't say he was a strobe light. He said, you start moving, and I will either catch you when you fall, or I'll teach you how to fly. But you got to be moving. If you ain't moving, how can he use you? That's why he gets you in depression. That's why you lay in your bed yelling at your kids. That's why you done wrote off women for the rest of your life, because you're like, my daddy was a player, I'm going to be a player. Because the enemy knows that one will put 1,000 in flight, two will put 10,000 in flight. He's over here saying, you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm a restorer. I got the greatest redemption plan on the planet. I remember when I finally started getting it, because this is what God will do. I kept literally like, come on, God, when are you going to do this? Because, man, I'm feeling it. I'm ready to go preach. What? And I remember I was thinking, one day I'm driving home. My car was sitting on the side of the road blowing up. Smoke coming out. Usually I'd get out and I hit it. Stupid car! But something was happening to me in this season. I wasn't mad no more. I was realizing that every single thing that was happening in my life was ordained by God. And I had to stop praying for God to change the situation and pray, what am I supposed to be doing in this situation? Because if I'm sitting on the side of the road, there's something I'm supposed to be doing, or I wouldn't be sitting on the side of the road. And I remember I was sitting there one day and something happened. I was 40 years old. Smoke was coming out of my car. I'm 75 in my knockoff Bentley. And I saw that smoke and something happened, Pastor. I thought, Broadway. I thought, God, you think of everything. You've given me my own smoke machine. I took my phone out sitting on the side of the road and I said, hello, awesome people. Are you sitting on the side of the road feeling like God's forgotten about you and your knockoff Bentley? Oh, you want to give up? But you ain't going to give up. You're going to get up, get up, get up. Upload. I said, devil, every time you got me sitting on the side of the road, I'm going to do a video. He had me sit on the side of the road for 5 days. In 5 days, I did a video. And on day 5, why? Because 1 ounce of obedience will do more for you than all the prayer in the world. He's waiting on your character to keep up with where he's taking you. See, nobody in your family's ever wrote that book. But when you write that book, it's going to go bestseller. Because he will send complete. Your family don't even have to support you. People don't even have to get on Facebook Live to watch you. Nobody has to buy your book that you know. When you are walking in the will of God and getting up from your storm, he then says, every time you got up, I trust you with another level, and he will send complete strangers to support your book. I remember sitting there and smoke was coming out of my car, and I did that video, and on day 5, there was like all of a sudden 100,000 people started following me over online. I'm still sitting in this room at my mom and daddy's house. I couldn't even buy cheese with my credit. Oh, but now it got me a whole office at the store, and that was a very bad idea. Because now every time somebody'd walk in my office, I'd shut that door behind them. I'd get up and look, and just anybody out there, and I'd close that door, and they'd, Kim, somebody stole my customer. I'd be like, come out! I was learning how to pray over people. I was getting myself to a place where I knew I ain't gonna be here forever. I got to get ready. I'm listening to T.D. Jakes. I'm getting ready. I can't go to Bible school because I got kids. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. Wherever you're taking me, I'm going to be ready. I can guarantee you that. I'm not waiting until everything falls into place. I'm doing it right now with what you've got me. See, y'all throwing in all the circus peanuts at Walgreens, and you're like, take your peanuts, take your hairspray. I mean, everybody's like, Lord Jesus, she has had a horrible day. And that is an angel probably standing in front of you. That video went viral. And all of a sudden, people started calling me, can you come preach? I'm like, oh, dear God. Do you know I've been divorced? They're like, yeah, girl, we done Googled you. And God started talking to me in that season. That's what he's doing in your life.
So good.
He said, move in your mess. Just start moving. You may not know what you're doing. You might be like me and looking at your daddy's church saying, ain't nobody gonna ever love me. Can I tell you? That's why you can't wear your moo-moo to Walmart. Y'all walking through a Walmart in your house shoes. Pick your feet up. Your husband is on aisle 7 in the broccoli aisle, but he ain't gonna be looking at your tired tail. You got to be ready, in season, out of season. You got to be waking up every day. You feel better. You feel better when you start taking back your power. You feel better when you're walking into places. You ain't stalking people from your past anymore. You feel better when you're coming to Vibrant Church and you're serving because something happens. You find your purpose with the very pain, and the platform of your most pain is exactly where God's going to use you for his glory. Because you can't go to seminary and get no... You can't go to seminary and get what you're about to walk out with. There's something called passion. I get on live at 9, there'll be 100,000 people on with me every night. People are like, dear God, did she have crack for breakfast? How many Red Bull did you have? I'm like, I only drank Jesus Red Bull today. But there's passion. Because if God can do it for me, he can do it for you. I don't know what you walked in with tonight. I don't know how stuck you really think you are. But tonight is a night that you leave it here. You pray for spiritual amnesia. I remember when I was saying, God, help me forgive. I just said it every night over and over. God, I want to forgive, but I don't know how. Every time I think of my ex, I still see his face. I still see a train hitting him hard. But I kept on repetitively. You got to keep doing it. You can't quit just because you ain't getting your answer right away. The enemy's trying to wear you out. I kept saying, God, finally I started realizing something was happening. Because all of a sudden I wasn't praying for God to kill him with the train. I was just like, God, don't kill him, just hurt him. Baby steps. Now I've written 4 books in 5 years. I thought at 36 my life was over. My ministry started when I was 40. I wrote my first book at 42. I started my podcast at 46. And at 47, I realized my life's just beginning. Not because everything in my life's perfect. In fact, I'm fighting one of the biggest battles I've ever fought. But can't touch this, nah, nah, nah. Can't touch it. I lay in my bed and I'll cry, and then I'll get up. It's okay to have a meltdown. You just can't stay down. My little boy that I thought that I hurt the most through my divorce. I remember I didn't even know what my favorite color was. Couldn't tell you what my favorite food was. I remember telling God, God, this was at 40. Still didn't know. I said, God, I need to know you can play. I hear you back there, man. You bad to the bone. I remember I said, God, I don't even know what my favorite color is. I need to know at least 25 things about me because I can't even do the quiz on Facebook. And I remember 7 days later, it was Mother's Day, and Lincoln Presley walked in and gave me a poem. And it said, 35 things that I love about you. The little boy that would let me burn up in that house. And he used to always tell me, Pastor, he'd be like, Rachel, he'd say, Mother, if you are the loudest one at this game, I will never, ever hit another goal. And every single time he hit a goal, I'd go, wow! And number one on that list was, Mom, I love you because you were the loudest one at my basketball game. Number 6 said, I love you, Mama, because you conquered hell in high heels. Devil had me believing for a long time that it was over. Just like he is some of you in this room. But it's just beginning. Move in your mess. That same little boy put up an Insta story the other day, and he was in Barnes & Noble. He said, how many of your mamas are staring at you when you walk in for highlighters at Barnes & Noble? What am I saying to you? If I wouldn't have lost everything, I wouldn't be as humble as I am today. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that God lets me do this. I'll never disappoint him because I'm so thankful. This is my purpose. Loving the hell out of you. My new book comes out April, and it's called Shut Hell Up. Because I realized that it was me holding myself back, nobody else. Nobody's doing it to you. You're doing it to yourself. I don't know what you walked in with tonight, but somebody's waiting on you to get up. Somebody's waiting on you to wipe your tears. You keep throwing in the towel, and God's throwing it back at you tonight, saying, wipe your face. You're almost there. Get up, stand up. God told me he was going to vindicate me if I lived so nobody believed it. And I remember 25 years to the date, Pastor Rod Parsley calls my ministry, the man that told me that I was going to mess my whole life up, and I did. He said, can Kim come back and preach at my Dominion Camp meeting? The very place that I messed up, God took me back and stood me on the platform of the place that I used to live to be on their platform. What am I saying to you? God ain't no sight kind of God. He didn't bring me in here tonight for no other reason but to talk to you. Yes, you. And tell you, I'm right here. When you can't, I can. If you're in this room tonight and you just say, Kim, man, I do feel stuck. I struggle, man, with anger and bitterness. Special ed. See, that's why I had to write 4 bestsellers, because nobody saw it coming. You got stuff in you that nobody sees coming. It ain't over, man. Your daddy don't know how to love you appropriately. You're never going to hear a good job, baby. But God up in heaven is saying, I got you. Yes. I've sent you a spiritual father. If you don't have a church home, you need to get here. You got to plug in. You got to get in a place and build community. You can't do this life by yourself. If you're in this place and you say, Kim, I've backslid, man. I don't know who Jesus is, but I want him tonight, because listen, you got to know who Jesus is, because he lives here. You don't need nobody to lay hands on you when he lives here, and that's good to let people lay hands on you because of the power of connection. But at night, man, when your kid's trifling, you can go up there and get your peppermint and taro oil. Your husband got a porn problem, sprinkle that oil, right in his underwear drawer. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But you got the power to get that oil and begin to lay hands on your house. You got the power to look at yourself in that mirror and say, it ain't over. Today's the best day of the rest of your life. If you don't know who Jesus is, I want you to lift your hand up. It takes 5 seconds to turn your life around. If you're in this room, just lift it as high as you can. Don't care what nobody thinks about you. And I'm gonna let you do this. If you're in this room tonight and you say, I'm stuck, I'm struggling, man. I want you to get out of your chair and come down here with me. Oh no, I ain't gonna do that now. I ain't gonna do that. No, I ain't gonna do that. You better. Because as you're walking down here, something's breaking off of you.
Yes, that's right.
Something's breaking off of your life. And don't just walk, run. You gotta run down here because you're winning the lottery tonight. You're about to get a breakthrough tonight. You about to be so freaking free, man. It's about to break off of you. Everything the devil meant to take you out is taking. Look at all the young babies. Come on, get down here, get down here. And as you're walking down here, y'all, I want you to think about that thing that's had you held back. She went to my daddy's church. You look so good. You got to think about that thing that keeps telling you that you're a failure. And you got to be willing to let it go. You got to let that man go from molesting you. You got to let that dad go that walked out of your life and went and raised somebody else's family. See, God just used that man to get you here. But he didn't want you to be like him. That's good, let it go. See, that makes us uncomfortable, but y'all yelled all the way at your spouse coming to church. It's release. It's release. I ain't staying here anymore. God, I need you. It's making up in your mind, baby. And I'm doing whatever I gotta do. And it starts with letting it go. Letting your mama go because your mama couldn't look at you and say, good job. Because she was broken. See, hurt people. But heal people. You gotta get healed so you can be a carrier of healing. The enemy just used them to trap you. But they should have taken you out before you walked in this place, because your comeback game is on fleek. As I begin to pray over you, something's gonna happen. I carry an anointing that the same way I got delivered, you're gonna get delivered. I got so delivered, I never went nay-nayed on another coyote bar in my life. At 38. Rebellious, running from God. Hated religion, and I still do, and I'm the devil's worst nightmare. Because now millions and millions of people follow Real Talk Kim that ain't never stepped a foot in a church, and I'm so honored y'all called me to pray for you. But here's what you're gonna do. When I begin to pray over you, there's gonna be a release that takes place in your life. God's gonna give you some spiritual amnesia. You're gonna still remember it, but it ain't gonna hurt. You gotta remember it so you can talk about it. You gotta stop being ashamed of your past. You gotta stop being ashamed of sleeping with everybody and not being married to them. I don't care whatever it is you're ashamed of. Tonight it starts over. Tonight is all that matters. And you might mess up again tomorrow. Get back up again. And the more you fall, the more you get back up again. The more you fall, it's almost like one of those bouncy things with the weights in the bottom. They hit you, you come back. Then finally, before you know it, you're gonna headbutt everything that's standing in your way. Boom. So I want y'all to lift your hands up as high as you can. My sons that should be statistic, They should be strung out on drugs. Their daddy's still not in their life because sin will take you further than you want to go, man. He couldn't forgive. And when you can't forgive, you start drinking and you start doing drugs. And the only reason you do those things is because you won't deal with what's going on the inside of you, because the enemy makes you think it's too heavy to heal. It's a lie from the pit of hell. You're right here, and right here where you're standing is where you're leaving it. Period. That abortion, you're leaving it here. That affair, you're leaving it here. That porn addiction, you're leaving it here. That nicotine, you're leaving it here. You're leaving it here. That anger, you're leaving it here. Because you're worth it. You're worth peace. You're worth joy. You're worth sleep. You're worth having your money not being funny. You're worth it. And that all starts with healing. So lift your hands up and say, Father. No, we ain't doing that now. That ain't convincing nobody. Show ain't scared of the devil. Y'all like, Father. Father. No. You got to be a boss, man. You got to, in fact, just shake yourself like Rocky Balboa. Come on. Come on, just kind of get yourself in. Oh, no, Kim, I can't do that. Get yourself out of your comfort zone. We know you grown. Come on. Get yourself ready. Because I'm leaving everything here. I got to shake some things off of me tonight. I got to be like Lazarus. And when Lazarus came back from the dead, Lazarus! Come forth. See, Lazarus was already dead and God still brought him back. Can't he bring you back? Huh? Jonah went the wrong way too. And you know what God did for Jonah? He sent a big whale and he told the whale, go get Jonah. He gonna need transportation back to where I told him to get. That's how cool he is. So lift your hands up as high as you can. Reach for gold, reach for gold, reach for gold. Say, Father, I release anything that has held me back. I release anger. I release bitterness. I release hopelessness. I release depression. I release shame. Father, I ask you to make me your home. And I say yes to you. 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 I'm your favorite. In Jesus' name. Now breathe. Breathe. Let it go. Let it go. Don't try to figure it out. Don't overthink. Just start walking in it. See, some of y'all getting real deliverance. Some about letting it go. You just feel, and some of you are going to be laying in your bed tonight, and it's going to be like, wah! You're going to be like, oh my God, I can't wait. That dream on the inside of you is coming back to life. That purpose is awakening on the inside of you. It's awakening. 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 So on the count of 3, here's what we're going to do. On the count of 3, I want you to scare your neighbor's eyebrows. Scare that man's toupee off his head. I want you to praise God for what he just did in your life. I want everybody in Mississippi to know something happened in Vibrant. There's a revival that is taking place in this place. 1, 2, 3. That was practice. Because some of you didn't know what we were doing. But now you do. On the count of 3. If there's anything still left here, it's about to fall off of you. All that gunk, it's about to fall off of you right now. You are not walking over this threshold with that same crap. Not today, Satan. He's saying, oh girl, when you walk out of here, there's another storm. Oh no, you are the storm. Bring it on. On the count of 3, are y'all ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? You gonna shout